As you know, after 4 movies and an animated series, the latest addition to the Monsterverse has arrived, and this time, it is not a movie in the theaters, but a show released on Apple TV+. Of course, we're talking about the franchise, or the existence of an inexplicable sun right in the middle of the earth and mortifying behemoths destroying everything on their way. As part of the Monsterverse, some people might be wondering, is Monarch Legacy of Monsters a sequel or a prequel to the Monsterverse movie we have always raved about? Well, this marks Legendary's first foray into live-action television within the Monsterverse, a franchise which kick-started 9 years ago with the Godzilla reboot. Monarch Legacy of Monsters takes a unique turn from the usual big-screen blockbusters, weaving a story that connects with the events of the previous films while setting the stage for all the upcoming Monsterverse projects. Set in 2015, the series unravels the tale of 2 siblings discovering more about their father's ties to the clandestine Monarch organization, other than finding out about his 2 different families and 2 different continents, of course. This ambitious series, featuring the ever-iconic Godzilla, is captivating right from the beginning. However, unlike the movies, the show doesn't exactly follow a straightforward timeline. Even if the primary setting is in 2015, Monarch Legacy of Monsters ventures into different decades to unveil the origins of Monarch and its behind-the-scenes efforts since its initiation, serving both humanity and the mighty kaiju. While the series introduces new faces, including the father-son power duo Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell portraying the same characters across different time periods, it is actually Godzilla and John Goodman returning as Bill Randa, which is our familiar link to the films. Until now, Monarch Legacy of Monsters boasts a remarkable 91% approval rating from over 50 reviews, making it as the highest rated media in the Monsterverse to date. Yet those new to the Monsterverse keep asking if it is really necessary to watch all the movies before diving straight into the series, and where exactly does the show fit in the timeline of the legendary Monsterverse movies? Well, fear not, my friend, as we've got all the answers to guide you through the overlapping connections between the Monsterverse and Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So without wasting another second, let's get right into it. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. What exactly is the Monsterverse? Where is the Monarch TV series placed in it? Most of you already know that the Monsterverse is an American multimedia franchise and shared fictional universe that is centered on a series of monster films featuring Godzilla and King Kong, created by Legendary Entertainment while being co-produced and distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. As a cinematic universe created by showcasing American-made kaiju films, Monsterverse encompasses Godzilla, released in 2014, the iconic Kong Skull Island in 2017, Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019, Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021, the newly added ongoing TV show Monarch Legacy of Monsters in 2023, and of course, the eagerly anticipated Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, set to release in 2024. What sets Monarch Legacy of Monsters apart is its rather conflicting position as both a sequel and a prequel to the rest of the Monsterverse. This distinctive narrative approach is often referred to as interquels and has become quite a notable trend in filmmaking, with even other popular franchises like the Marvel Cinematic Universe using it as a tool to showcase flashbacks of character backgrounds, as witnessed with Black Widow. Taking the storyline back in 2015 and then to the 1950s, Monarch Legacy of Monsters unfolds events before and after the inception of the series, with Godzilla wreaking havoc in San Francisco in 2014. This creative decision places the Monarch series in a time frame that captured the world's initial encounter with kaiju before these monsters became a more commonplace presence in everyday life, while exploring a period when the revelation of these colossal creatures shook humanity to the very core. More than the monsters, Monarch maps a time of recovery and understanding, where the threat of the kaiju wiping out humanity was still a haunting possibility. Now, each of these timelines stands for a haunting representation, which many of you, the avid fans, have already decoded. While the Monarch series deals with the aftermath of Godzilla's chaos almost mirroring the real world during the onset of the recent pandemic, the 1950s document the representation of the bombings in Japan at the end of World War II. This intentional placement in the narrative timeline adds a layer of intrigue, providing a unique perspective on the Monsterverse by bridging the gap between the early discovery of kaiju and their eventual integration into the world's consciousness. Monarch Legacy of Monsters emerges as a crucial piece in the Monsterverse puzzle, offering audiences a nuanced exploration of a world grappling with a newfound knowledge of these awe-inspiring and hauntingly beautiful creatures.
Oh my
exploring all the timelines seen within Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Monarch Legacy of Monsters specifically dives deep into the shadowy operations of the Monarch organization, who were initially intended to be heroic watchdogs, but if the movies have any indications, this covert US government organization is far from being anything remotely heroic. The first 3 episodes of the Monarch series peels back the layers of secrecy, revealing a multitude of conspiracies lurking in the shadows. Now, what sets the creative team of Legacy of Monsters apart is their departure from linear storytelling. Instead of a straightforward chronological account, the series navigates Monarch's history and actions in the modern era by jumping across various timelines. While this approach may initially pose quite a challenge, the payoff will definitely come when this intricate web of events is finally unraveled, exposing Monarch as a shadowy entity with a dubious agenda throughout different time periods. The overall premise of this non-linear narrative reinforces a fundamental mistrust of the Monarch organization, emphasizing on how they devastatingly mishandled the existence of these colossal monsters across the ages. Maybe by the end of the season, the unsettling truth will finally be revealed regardless of the era, and fixate on how Monarch emerged as G-Men with motives that warrant skepticism. Nonetheless, let's take a quick look through the different timelines within the series in chronological order. The beginning of Monarch, or the past timeline, 1950s. As we've discussed before, to unravel the intricacies of the present-day plot in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, the series takes a captivating journey into the past, specifically the 1950s, predating the events of Kong Skull Island. In this era, we are introduced to a young Leland Lafayette Shaw III, fondly known as Lee, an army officer tasked with safeguarding a spirited young Japanese scientist named Keiko Miura during her expedition. Right from the beginning, we see how Keiko, characterized by her boldness, intelligence, and independence, challenges Lee's military demeanor from time to time. When Lee joins Keiko on a mission in the Philippines to investigate the radiation anomalies, the trio crosses paths with a young Bill Randa, a stranger in the jungle who quickly realizes the synergy between his work tracking ion signatures and Keiko's readings. Later, when Keiko learns that Bill is a cryptozoologist on the hunt for monsters, she urges Lee to allow Bill into their team and explore the island while she delves into understanding potential creatures. Being a military man who follows orders, Lee does not support Keiko's decision and almost goes on his way until he observes a celestial path in the sky, which alerts him to arrive just in time to assist Billy and Keiko in their escape. As the narrative unfolds, 2 scientists stumble upon the wreckage of the USS Lawton, a ship Bill escaped from in the 1940s during a Titan attack at sea. This event, unbeknownst to Lee's team, was the actual catalyst for the formation of Monarch in 1946 by the Americans and the Japanese. As they try to assess the ship, they encounter a flying lizard which seems like a terrifying reinterpretation of rodent. The kaiju almost gets them, but fortunately Lee comes to their rescue, which transforms into a pivotal moment, later banding this trio together in the pursuit of evidence for more such kaiju. Now, this sequence significantly amplifies the importance of the Philippines in the Monsterverse lore, building on Gareth Edwards' Godzilla, which hinted at Godzilla's ancestor Dagon, and Muto eggs found in the Philippines at Outpost 14. Monarch Legacy of Monsters further deepens the connection to the region. The series lays the groundwork for the Hollow Earth, which is the birthplace of Titans, offering insights into why the US military and Monarch would eventually decide to bomb Godzilla in Bikini Atoll in 1954. The new adventure in Legacy of Monsters emerges as a crucial building block, not only for understanding the Titans' origins, but also for unraveling the intricate decisions that shaped the Monsterverse. So we also see a timeline jump into 1959 when, in the premiere episode Aftermath, the narrative shifts to the established trio of Bill, Lee, and Keiko years later as they explore a nuclear facility in Kazakhstan. The episode provides a glimpse into their experience after their time in the Philippines, revealing a more seasoned team with extensive knowledge of monsters across the globe. As the trio begin their work, their expectations of a radiation-infected environment shockingly turns out to be free of radiation. Upon further investigation, they soon discover a nest of glowing monster eggs beneath the decommissioned facility belonging to the endoswarmer species. While they did share a tight bond, Lee was at odds while the others in subordination, particularly in their inclination to interact with unhatched baby monsters. But of course, Keiko, being the strong-willed, curious person she is, promptly got down to collect a sample. But history has always been proof of how these situations are best left unstirred. As Keiko approached the glowing eggs, they began to crack crack open, unleashing a swarm of bug-like monsters. Despite Lee's efforts to rescue her, Keiko succumbs to the onslaught and falls into the abyss of newborn monsters, leaving Lee and Bill heartbroken. It should be noted that while we see her meeting her tragic end, her adventures alongside Lee and Bill remains a recurring theme throughout the season. Even in the 1950s, Monarch has yet to officially enter the picture, but the evidence gathered from Lee's reports on these incidents definitely sets the stage for their involvement as the trio unwittingly uncovers more about the monsters and their potential implications. The series weaves a narrative of scientific exploration tinged with tragedy, revealing the complex dynamics between the characters and the mounting mysteries that draw Monarch into the unfolding events. The timeline that connects Monarch Legacy of Monsters with Kong Skull Island 1973. Although not a lot has been revealed in the first 3 episodes of the show, the pilot episode in Monarch kicks off with John Goodman portraying Bill Randa in 1973, stationed on Skull Island in the role of a photojournalist. This serves as the lead into the events of Kong Skull Island, where Randa later leads a military expedition alongside James Conrad and Preston Packard, with photographer Weaver capturing the journey. The series unveils what Bill Randa knew before embarking on the expedition and how he actually documented Skull Island with his camera. The episode Aftermath showcases Randa facing off against Titans, including a giant spider named Mother Longlegs and a mammoth crab called the Mantleclaw. These Titans engage in a fierce battle, which is captured by Randa's camera. Somehow saving his life from this fatal battle, he carefully seals the footage into a package, tossing it into the ocean before recording a message expressing his regret for abandoning someone. Although this poignant opening leaves fans wondering about the recipient of the data, Randa's hope to use this intelligence to reveal the existence of Titans to the public is perfectly clarified. But it is possible that Monarch went out of their way to seriously harm Bill, and that the package might actually be meant for an older Lee Shaw. Given the absence of any mention of this package in the Skull Island movie, suggests it did not reach its intended target in the Monsterverse timeline of the movies. The flashback of 2014 to build on the premise of Garrett Edwards' Godzilla timeline. The narrative of 2014 unfolds with a catastrophic G-Day in the Godzilla film, but the Monarch series shows it in a flashback as a pivotal moment etched in memory, as the military faces off against the colossal lizard on the Golden Gate Bridge. While Godzilla's mission is to confront the Mutos, Monarch's protagonist, Kate, experiences the tragedy from a different perspective. This recollection is far from altruistic for her, as the memory is marred by the loss of her students, when debris falls on the bridge, resulting in numerous vehicles plunging right into the San Francisco waters, claiming innocent lives. This grim reality actually underscores the profound collateral damage and mass casualties that accompany whenever a kaiju war breaks loose. Soon, we find out that after surviving these harrowing events, Kate seeks solace in a meeting with her father, Hiroshi. But instead of staying with his family, Hiroshi leaves for something important and, well, never returns. Not in her wildest dreams did Kate think that Hiroshi would be the son of Bill and Keiko, ultimately becoming the catalyst for Kate's newfound destiny in the primary timeline. Now, a year prior, a fisherman in Tokyo discovered Bill's package, eventually reaching Hiroshi in the present timeline. Even if it is not yet unraveled, it can be assumed that Hiroshi engaged in investigations of his own, following up on Bill's work. So, it somehow makes sense how, despite the devastation of G-Day, Hiroshi had told Kate that he cannot return to her mother and resume their life in America, as there was a new path for him to pursue. Subsequently, we also know that Hiroshi's plane mysteriously crashed in Alaska, so he is presumed to be dead, which serves as the main catalyst for how Kate goes to Tokyo in the first place, and delves into her father's hidden life, ultimately questioning whether the tragedy was an accident or simply a web of intrigue and mystery surrounding Hiroshi's untold story. The primary timeline in the series, 2015. As we've already discussed before, the central timeline of Monarch Legacy of Monsters unfolds in 2015, where Kate delves deeper into the countless mysteries surrounding her father Hiroshi and the mysterious accident which led to his apparent demise. Much to her dismay, she uncovers the startling revelation that Hiroshi concealed a second family in Japan. After being at a hopeless dead end, Kate sets aside her personal turmoil to collaborate with her half-brother Kentaro and his ex-girlfriend, the skilled hacker May in a collective effort to unravel the truth. Their pursuit, however, attracts the attention of aggressive Monarch agents, prompting the siblings to suspect that the organization has silenced Hiroshi and is now eliminating loose ends. As the trio manages to decipher the digital data, a broader conspiracy emerges, hinting at the existence of many more Titans and unveiling a scale of intrigue beyond their initial comprehension. Kentaro's investigations unearth another individual connected to Hiroshi, who is the retired Lee Shaw, portrayed by Kurt Russell. Well, the second episode concludes with the trio helping an old Lee make a daring escape from the Monarch-monitored retirement home he was trapped in. Eager to discover the fate of Hiroshi, Lee expresses gratitude for meeting Bill's grandchildren. While in the middle of engineering their escape, Lee seeks insights into the activities of the new monsters, specifically Godzilla and Kong. Additionally, he aims to unravel Monarch's role in addressing the escalating problems. We also see him longing for his friends, which sets the stage for revealing more background on Bill, Keiko, and their journeys, with the expectation that Lee holds crucial information about Hiroshi's actions upon receiving the package. Yep, we're talking about the very important bag that Bill Randa dumped into the ocean, and the same bag which probably prompted Hiroshi's sudden absence. Followed by the same bag the Randa siblings discovered in their father's office, slowly interconnecting all the plots together into a firm grip. While episode 3 ends in a hefty cliffhanger with the entire group's life hanging by a thread after being in the presence of another kaiju in the icy Alaskan terrain, it did give us traces of Hiroshi still being alive, so there is a very big chance of his to make a solid comeback and add more depth to the present timeline.
Now you got just about 60 seconds to make up your minds.
Lee Shaw's character binds all these timelines together. By now, we can all agree that the Monarch series has skillfully woven two distinct trios into its narrative fabric, transporting viewers to the early days of Monarch when the existence of Titans was a hidden truth, and simultaneously unfolding in 2015, a period marked by global shock following the emergence of Godzilla. Let's recap a bit about Lee Shaw's situation. In 2015, after narrowly escaping a Monarch agent's interrogation about the files they discovered, Kentaro returns home to find his mother, Emiko, revisiting their family photo album. Frustration over his father's actions prompts Kentaro and Emiko to cathartically tear apart the photos. So amidst the black and white images, they stumble upon a photo of Uncle Lee, sparking Kentaro's idea to track him down. The journey leads them to a seemingly ordinary retirement home where they encounter an unexpected surprise: the Colonel, who is revealed to be an older Lee Shaw, portrayed by Kurt Russell. However, as discussed before, this retirement home is a facade, as Lee is held captive by Monarch in secure asset management, monitored and restricted via an ankle bracelet. Despite the complications, Lee becomes a crucial asset to the Randa's investigation, offering unique stories and information unavailable from other sources. He emerges as the closest link to their grandparents and their missing father. Lee enlightens the trio about the relentless pursuit by the Monarch, emphasizing the need for his assistance in uncovering the truth behind their father's endeavors. While the older Lee is unveiled in the closing moments of the second episode, he is poised to become the linchpin connecting both storylines. By the third episode, he had officially become a crucial part of the team, guiding the group to safety till South Korea and then to Alaska, with the hope of tracking down their father. Marvelous verdict. No doubt the narrative complexity and the intricate family tree adds a layer of confusion, but the potential for shocking revelations and discoveries in this show is truly palpable. The tension established in the initial episodes hints at a promising trajectory, suggesting that Monarch: Legacy of Monsters could elevate itself as the most compelling installment in the Monsterverse. Plus, the chosen storytelling approach, although a bit confusing, holds the promise of unraveling the silent ascent and reign of the mysterious monarch. Nonetheless, the plot so far has been quite riveting, and the occasional monster cameos seem to suffice in order to build up the story arc and keep it engaging. So how about you guys? What do you guys think of the show so far? Let us know about your thoughts and opinions in the comment box below.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.